right now, if we were going with the crowd vote, you would win. All right. So, but the purpose is, like, we don't want to just do funny stuff. We want to do fun, but educational stuff. The point of the frag off is to really spend time educating you guys on what's going on inside the industry. Pulling corals from the ocean is not something we want to just completely be reliant on. There's some pulling from the ocean that's maybe somewhat okay. I mean, it's just debatable. I don't want to get into that. But we all enjoy coral. We don't want to always rely on just getting the coral from the ocean. So we want to be able to grow these things, to garden them like you would plants every day. And that's what these guys are doing, right? They're, just like if you were growing plants. I mean, my girlfriend does a lot of the plants, and she has like the variegated monsteras and all that stuff that she like takes and like moves them off the roots and puts them into new pots. We're just doing the same exact thing in our industry versus just letting the colony grow and leaving it alone. But we want you to be able to do that safely, right? So if you guys are aware of polytoxin poisoning, right? And some of you might have read articles about polytoxin poisoning that, someone really gets hurt, ends up in the hospital, some death, right? So we want you guys to pay attention to how these guys do it. The judges are judging on how they're doing it, safety, glasses, gloves. That's a very important metric here, but then also quality. So we're trying to teach you, if you are doing this at home, because I did this, oh gosh, how long have I been doing this, Meckley? I've been doing this for 20 years now. And when I first started, when I was 16 or 17, I decided to cut zoanthids myself, right? And I remember getting dizzy once. And
nobody really knew anything about the
I didn't even know
toxins and
what
what can actually happen
right?
to you with cutting fragments of zoanthids. It can be very bad for, I've known people that had dogs that put their head in a bucket that had zoanthid frags in, and the dog got sick.
Sit down for it, go to the hospital.
There's other that are even worse when it comes to like polythoas, where they are very toxic, and people can go to the hospital. It kills dogs. It's killed cats. So doing it the proper way, that's part of the reason why we're doing this, is so you guys can be aware of the fact that even though we love them, they're beautiful, and it looks like it's something simple, it can be very dangerous too if you're not doing things properly.
Did you read the article? I don't know if you guys read it, but there was one where it got into the air. Julian, right?
Julian took a polythoa rock out of his display tank. He had it for about 15 years, and it didn't move. And he was revamping that aquarium, and he took the rock out with the polythoas on it and put it into a bucket with an air stone and put fish in with it as well. And he came back about 5 to 10 minutes later, and the fish were dead. And then almost an hour later, he was in the emergency room. Yeah. And it went airborne because of the air stone in the bucket with the polythoas.
He's one of the leaders of our industry.
He's the godfather. To hear Julian got polytoxin because of something like that, it just goes to show that anybody can, don't be complacent when you're dealing with these animals, especially zoanthids, because they do. My daughter did a research on it, and we have actually her named Zoanthid that she was farming back when she was in 7th grade, and she won the science fair with it. And she did all the research, and they use polythoa toxins in cancer research to make chemotherapy. That's how nasty this stuff is. It's in chemotherapy. Some people have it actually put into their body to help fight cancer, which is amazing. But there's goes to show there's so much more we don't know about what we have with the resource called a reef that we need to protect it. We need to bring awareness to it. We need to make sure people are doing things the right way to make sure these animals have a fighting chance in our aquariums. And propagating them and growing them and fragging and sending to friends, giving them to friends. Back when the Reefers Code was the main thing we used to do back in the day, where I had a piece, you wanted a piece of it, I gave you a piece of it. If I lost it, you gave it back. That's not the way it is anymore in most cases, but it should be, and everybody should be helping each other out by, okay, you really like that piece? If you lose it, what are you going to do?
Oh, that's what we do a lot too, is we trade, exchange. You guys are probably practicing that yourselves. Brian, personally, he sends me all the best pieces of his coral. He's going to continue to do that next week. He's going to send me just a bit of everything, just to double his own collection. So, right, and Austin, because he may win, and, I'm not a judge, luckily.
Well, didn't Brian won the first frag off, didn't he? Or was it the second one? Chicago last year?
Yeah, the other ginger took him.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
But Yeah, I was just saying I'm not judging, but you know, if I knew that all that those corals were coming to me, I might try to.
Well,
anyway.
we need to give a shout out. We got to find Jake. Like, I think he's probably just lost
Yeah,
track
where
of
is
time.
Jake?
I don't know.
Jake Adams, please get to the stage. Jake Adams is supposed to be running this.
Richard?
You, are you subbing in for Jake to judge this? Well, if he doesn't get here quickly, then we're going to have you sub in.
I just was talking to him like 45 minutes ago.
Okay, so anyways, we're going to go ahead and get started. What we have here today is we have Chris Berry from Gingerbread Tropical Fish and Coral. His brother won this in Chicago the very last time we run this. So
Yep.
if he wins, we're going to have a brother versus brother contest.
Next Chicago, we'll have to do brother versus brother.
We have the A Train, Austin. Now this guy has been doing this for a very long time, so I'm glad you guys are gonna. Now, are all of you guys saltwater? Is everyone here saltwater? Is anyone here that's freshwater, only owns a freshwater aquarium, that wants to watch this anyways? This is why I do this, because I want you guys to start to realize that you don't have to be freshwater centric, you don't have to be saltwater centric. I've gone and I've talked about this show at different stores. I'm like, hey, are you coming to Aquashella? And they're like, oh no, it's too saltwater. And I'm like, well, but we have so much freshwater. And they're like, oh no, but there's too much saltwater stuff. I'm like, but there's more freshwater than any other show offers. And they're like, yeah, I know that, but
Here comes
okay.
Jake.
Right. It's okay. Jake's coming, and then I'll go to a saltwater store, and they'll be like, "No, it's too freshwater." So there's a very big pride in being freshwater or saltwater, but we're all fish people, and we love to do aquariums, and that's what we remember. So I'm glad that you guys are watching this, because maybe you decide to get one. And then we have Mr. Jacob Blankenship, who. What I love about Jacob is he works with me at Fritz Aquatics, and he's my best friend, and I'm not trying to be sentimental or anything, but I like to do things to him, and he did not know he was going to be in this competition.
I didn't even know the guy knew how to frag.
I made a post last night and put him in a big banner, and it was like his wake up this morning, hey, you're doing the frag off. Okay, so it's funny, but he's really good at everything, so I wouldn't be surprised if he took it. All right, guys, I'm going to stop running on. We got Jake Adams here. We've got all the contestants. We have our judges. We have the godfather of coral, Mr. Sultan, and we've got Chris Meckley from ACI Aquaculture, who is the sponsor of this event and provides the coral. And we have Jake Adams from Reef Builders.
He will be here in just a few minutes.
Reef Stock. We are announcing that Reef Stock will hold a frag off location as well. So if you're in the Denver area, this frag off will also have a stop at Reef Stock. So
yeah, Jake and I talked about that, and I know he was talking to you about it. So we're going to try to make the frag off an event at Reef Stock and here, but we're going to tweak it, make it a little bit different, so that way it's not exactly the same. So we have some. It makes it more interesting for everybody.
Okay, and then where's Sasha? Where's Sasha? Sasha, get over here. Sasha is here with his mom, and they're having a mother-son weekend at Aquashella, and I was like, well, how old is he? How long has he been doing aquariums? He drilled holes in his floor to do his first RODI, water replenishment system. So I was like, he's smart enough to help me with the frag off. Come on, bring him over here. So Sasha, come on up. We're going to need your hands up here, and let's get this thing started. I'm going to hand this over to Peter Sherrick, who is the real MC of this, and Scott Crow, who are much more entertaining than me.
Since we got the video on the frags, these are all ACI lineage corals. Every single one of these corals, with the exception of the Monopora carinata, the Manila Spy, that was brought, I got that from Jake, and it's got a really cool story. But it is a very unique Montipora, the fact that it's almost like a Monopora setosa, but it's also like Monopora hirsuta, the branching one. So it's a very fast grower and a nice piece for people to get their hands on. We just released it about 6 months ago. Then we have the 3 overgrown mother frags of the Army Girl Zoanthids that my daughter used in her science project. And then we have the ACI Plutonium Chalice, which is the Mycidium. Fairly quick grower, neon green with bright orange-yellow eyes, or coral lights. So that's how we determine how many frags we can make out of a particular coral is by the amount of coral lights that each one of them has, or polyps, like the Zoanthids. So with that being said, I guess it's getting to be about that time where we should be getting the show on the road as soon as they get the water in it, and we're good to go. Unfortunately, I have to say, I have the Monopora carinatas bagged up because they're very brittle, and I didn't really think it through when I put these in a box to ship them here for the frag off. And shipping them here by UPS was, you know, I was in a rush, and it's an excuse, but I should have thought about it harder, because by the time they got here, the way UPS handled the box, they're such a thin branching coral that they were in who knows how many pieces. We'll find out at the end. But the one piece actually is in good shape, so somebody is going to have to cut it. So when you guys are picking your frags, if you pick them in the bags, they're going to be pre-fragged for you, but you still have to cut a little bit. The other one is in the water here, and it has to be completely cut down into fragments. So that's going to be interesting to see the difference between pre-fragged and one that they actually have to frag. With the zoanthids, be very careful when you guys are doing the zoanthids. It's not one of the really super toxic ones, but it's still got paleotoxins in it. And the bottom line with this, we want between 2 to 3 polyp frags made out of the zoanthids, and with the mycidiums, we want between 1 to 2 corallites or eyes per fragment. And you gotta, don't just rush through it. Make sure that there's something that you can sell in a week or so. That's the bottom line, you know. So don't just butcher them. Just, you know, it's going to be fun. Let's make sure that everybody that's here that gets a free frag at the end of the show. As a matter of fact, everything here that's fragged, all the frags are given to you guys that are watching the show at the end. So you get to pick a coral that is truly aquacultured. So make sure that they're going to live, guys.
All right, you good, Chris?
I'm good, buddy.
All right.
We're ready to rock and roll. What's up, Jake?
Ready to rock and roll. Judges table. Everybody good? Good.
What are we doing for times and everything?
Yeah, what are we doing for
What's
times?
the game plan?
10 minutes per frag? 10? All right. Well, let me get out the...
It's 10 minutes per frag for each one.
So.
And we'll try to make it faster than what it has been in the past. So that way everybody's not have to stand around here for an hour.
Sounds good. Yeah. All right, 10 minutes on the official time. What's up, Aquashella Chicago? How's everybody doing? All right, so okay at best, warm okay.
Mediocre at best.
Yeah, that's all right. Who's here for the first Aquashella ever? Dang! All right, good stuff. Who was at the original Aquashella that started here in Chicago in 2018?
Oh yeah, we know.
I know Brian was.
Brian
was there way back there. Huh? It's Brian. Yes, yeah, of course, yeah. He was there. He was there.
He put like half the thing on.
That's a fact. All right, guys. So you heard all the explanations. I'm not going to re-go through anything here, so bore you with any more stuff. Let's do this. Pick a number between 1 and 10.
7. 3.
7 wins it. You get first frag pick. So come on down. What are we starting with, Chris? What do we Chalice start, Chris?
I think that the zoanthid is going to take the longest. So I honestly believe we should start with the zoanthid and get that out of the way. And then we'll go to the chalice and then the Manila spy.
Okay, all right. So Zoa first. Pick out your Zoa frag you want. There you go, the big boy. Jacob, come on down. Come on down. Get yourself a frag.
Woo-wee.
The Zoas are the ones in the middle here. Oh. Those right there, okay? Yeah, that one, yep. And keep them out of your mouth. All right, last but not least, choose carefully. All right, there we go. Frags are all out. Give everybody 1 second here to prep. Everybody's got glue, plugs, all that good stuff. All right, gentlemen. Are we ready? Ready? All right, here we go. Count it down with me, people, from 3, 2, 1, go! Yeah,
Yes,
we got the
they're
things
back.
back. All right, so here you go, folks. Breakneck speeds. Don't look away. You might miss something.
I can't believe nobody's got a light
Things fly
this year.
at you. Make sure you have eye protection on if you're up front in the splash zone. Scott, you're standing at the table, so I'm going to go to you for commentary on what's going down up here.
Yeah, so let's just check in with it, Chris. I see you're working in there. What are you doing here?
So right now I'm cutting in these things with the bone cutters, just kind of breaking it up, you know, just whoa, we got a little fly there, you know, but we're trying to just go break this piece up into little more workable pieces so that we can cut them more effectively.
Jacob, how about you?
Absolutely. Just as Chris said, we're going to try to get these broken up a little bit. I brought a knife blade with me so I could break up the colonies a little better with a knife blade, and hopefully not get one cut and squirt on me. So
And you're actually putting the glue on them right now, prepping.
absolutely.
All right, good.
So the fun that I get to have while we're here doing this is to see 3 different people that I've never seen frag before, and their different techniques. And Jake was just talking about it, and Austin's using a technique that Jake is familiar with, and actually, Chris is doing the same thing.
What made you pick out these zoas?
I picked these zoas out because my daughter put the name on them.
Yep.
She went through a science project with them, so they have a little bit of history with my company, and we have an overabundance of them in stock right now. And these were 2 or 3 of our larger mother frags that we would actually frag down into individual or double or single polyp or triple polyps to put up for sale at wholesale value. So that's why we chose that, because it was the most abundant that we had. It's also kind of a sleeper, because if you look at it under a white light, most people will be like, I wouldn't put that in my tank. And then they put it underneath a blue light, and they're like, ooh, where did the pink come from? Where did the blue come from?
Yep.
We called them Army. My daughter called them Army girls because they had that camouflagey pattern to them, and depending on what light you put them in, they really glow. They're really cool. They're really a cool Zoanthid polyp. So that's why we picked them.
And that's why, what made you choose them first?
I chose them first because fragging down Zoanthids into individual polyps, double polyps, and triple polyps tends to be a little bit tedious. And if you're rushing to do it at the end, it might end up causing possible issues where they cut a polyp too much, or just time consuming, and I didn't want that to be the last one that they cut, and it would be running the show longer and longer and longer. So that's kind of the reason why I picked it.
If you never fragged before, and this is your first time, would you suggest this as beginning coral?
No,
to
I would
frag?
not. I would not suggest a Zoanthid as the first coral you ever frag. I would suggest a monopora or an acropora, or there's so many different LPS corals that are much easier to frag to begin with, until you get some fragging under your belt and you understand how it's done and what you have to do. Then go to graduate to polythoas or Zoanthids, because the risk involved with doing them, if you don't know what you're doing, you could end up in a hospital.
Yes.
And that's what you don't want.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about the love of the animals and being able to spread the love out, and you got to know what you're doing and do it.
No, it's great. Let's check in with Austin. How you making it? Oh, yeah.
I'm really excited to see a technique that I've been looking forward to see in competition for a long time. And when I frag stuff, I like to lay out how many plugs I'm going to need, and then I'll dab the glue first before I start cutting anything. And that allows the super glue to start bonding and curing. So then when you frag your corals, by the time you put them on that super glue, it's had a minute or 2 to kind of start setting. And I see 2 of our contestants are using this technique. I've been waiting for this technique to show up since the first coral frag off. So it's nice to see 2 of our competitors taking advantage of this extra special hack.
Gentlemen, 5:45 left on the clock. 5:45 left on the clock.
Austin, how you feeling? I see you kind of cleaned up right there. You kind of want to explain?
Yeah, pretty much just use the clippers on this one. Don't need the saw for that. I bring the frag rack out like he was saying, put the glue on first, cut them off, stick them down. That's about it.
See why they call you A-Train.
I was going
I
to get
can
ready to
see it
say
right
that's the
away.
reason why they call him the A-Train. He did that quick.
All right, so you guys know you get a free frag if you're standing here. Who's actually taking home a frag with them?
No.
All right, so I know Sean asked you guys, but I'll ask again because I was doing something else. How many people are saltwater people here? Okay, all right. Not a lot compared to how many frags here. You might actually end up getting 1 or 2 frags.
Sutan, we haven't heard much from you. What do you got for us?
I'm just excited to see all these competitors. I've done a lot of frag myself, but this is very interesting to see that they have a different technique when everybody has a different, how to frag corals.
Yeah, great.
I'm surprised that we don't see blue lights this go around. At the last Aquashella, every single fragger, actually we had couples last time, they all had a blue light so that they could see exactly where the coral lights were, which that might be a little bit, make the Mycidium a little bit harder for them to cut, because they might end up not being able to see an individual coral light.
For me, doing the trade shows, it is crazy how every part of the country is something totally different. Between whether it's Orlando, whether we're in Texas, or we're here in Chicago. It is crazy.
It is different.
Everyone has their own style.
Everywhere has been different. You're right, and I've learned a couple little techniques that I never thought about when I was since I've been fragging for the last 20 years.
So there's 340 left, and Austin's already done. So I don't know, Brian. You want to come up and inspect his work? Do you have any oversight? Does he get a raise if he wins? It says, yeah. All right. How's it? Excellent.
This is how we do it.
That's all right. All right. All good. Dwayne, why are you're wearing a staff shirt? What's going on? You got things to defend and things to represent up here. All right, folks, we're coming down to 3 minutes. Let's see how Jacob's doing. He's got stuff on plugs. Things are flying. Yeah, looking good. Jake's out here inspecting things. How are you guys doing? How's the show going so far? Who's been here all day? All right. Who's bought something interesting? Anybody? What'd you buy? All right, cool. Who else bought something?
I got a few blues on them.
Down there?
See,
What'd
this
you
worked
buy?
out really well with the size of the pieces I brought. It's not going to be 400 frags at the end like we did.
A painting of what? Oh, very cool. Hey, good for you, sir. Thanks for coming out. We appreciate it. We appreciate you being here. All right, folks, we're getting down to the wire. Austin's bored out of his mind. I feel like we're on Chopped. You sure you got everything on the plate? Used all the ingredients? You sure you want to clean up your area maybe? Sweep up a little bit? Wipe your saw down? Pretty self-aware. 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. Are we going to need all 10 minutes here?
No, we done?
Did,
You're done.
It worked. I brought overgrown frags,
Is
and
everybody
we
done?
have less than 10 minutes per session, so it should help us not be an hour and a half.
okay.
And everybody out here in the audience hopefully will keep attention and continue to go through this and then
All right, well, let's
take an
put-
amazing frag at the end of the day.
Yeah, let's pretend we're down to the wire here, and you guys are all hustling and not going to finish in time. So let's count them out. 3, 2, 1. Hands off! Woo! All right, folks, present your frags to the judges. Oh, you guys don't have a tray, do you? I'm not picking that up.
Someone dropped the ball.
Yeah, put that in front of Chris there. Grab your tray and deliver your tray to the judges.
Grab that tray.
Let's put them in, Austin, why don't you go all the way to the left so we got 1, 2, 3 in that order. Come in here. Jacob, you in the middle.
Why are you guys using more?
There you go. All right, everybody remember what's going on. All right, yeah, there you go. He gets, all right. Walk away, people, walk away. All right, so this is the point in the contest where things get super boring because, you know, judges are doing their things. Are you going to use this one? Anybody want a wet frag plug? I don't have any rocks to give away. If you've ever been to one of these shows, there's two things I like to do. I like to give away rocks, and I like to eat people's snacks. So if anybody has a snack they'd like to share, you can feel free to come up to the stage.
Also, Peter enjoys snacks.
I enjoy snacks.
That's awesome.
I mean, you know, who doesn't? All right, judges feverishly at work here. The timer's going off even though we finished early. What do we have boxes of anything? There's usually like extra
Something
glue
given
up
away.
here. All kinds of stuff I can give away. What is all this junk? Is this your personal stuff or did this come with the place? Oh, fun. Who wants a dry frag plug? You guys are no fun. All right, way in the back. Everybody watch your eyes. There you go. Coming at you way over here. There you go. That's all right. Who else wants one? Yeah, there you go. Watch out, Brian.
Yeah, that's right,
Over
Brian.
here, JBJ hat. Watch your
Okay.
eyes. Back there. Have a frag plug. Have a frag plug. Whoops, sorry, baby.
You get a frag plug.
Sorry,
and
baby.
You get a frag plug.
Way back there. Oh God, there's too many babies over there. Does that one have like something covering it? Okay. There you go. There you go. Yeah, but way in the back there by the sign. Sorry, person walking by. Man, you guys see? Oh, sorry. Here you go.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Good try.
Right there.
Anybody else want to go blind today? All right. Oh man, you guys are really. Do you need these for anything? Like you're gonna have enough? I'll just give them all away. That's fine. Man, my throwing's way off. Here we go. There we go. Way in the back there. Watch the tank. I already threw one to you. Down there. Over there. Yeah, I said sorry. It's all right. Way back there. If you're standing here, you're aware that I'm throwing them, so. All right. Over here.
One more.
Watch
Super
out.
dance
There you
for
go.
everybody.
Thank you. Oh, one in Brian's mouth. That was so close.
Yo,
So
once
close.
he realized I was going in there, he kind of moved quick.
Way back there. Way back there.
From downtown.
So we're done doing our judging on the
All right.
frags.
We're
And,
done. Sorry. All right. I'm done here.
I'm gonna let Jake take over for right
Yeah.
now, and then I'll jump in.
So you guys out there in the audience might be wondering, what is it that they're looking at, you know, because on their own, each frag is a frag of zoanthids glued to a tile. But we're looking at some of them that, looking for like super glue overspilled, right? You never want like super glue bubbles kind of, you know, coming out of your coral and to a place to grow algae. We're looking at just kind of how even and uniform the frags are. So some contestants are all over the map with 1 to 4 polyps per frag plug, and another, you know, is really more consistent in that 2 with a few frags that are just 1 or 3. But one of the most important things also is just the durability of how well glued down the corals are, right? So definitely the technique of putting down your glue before you even start fragging allows the super glue to start curing, and that shows over here when we touch the frags and see which ones are most firmly adhered. Did you have any thoughts, Chris?
All I would, I mean, Jake basically hit the nail on the head. I mean, you know, they did a good job, and you know, the consistency with the frags from, you know, each contestant, it's definitely a little bit different, but everybody's got their techniques. So I really don't have a whole lot to say. There's zoanthids, and we're looking for, you know, 1, 2, 3 polyps per frag, and these all pretty much meet the criteria with the exception of a handful of them. And they did a really good job of getting it done in less than that 10-minute period of time, which for zoanthids is good.
Perfect. All right,
Next
let's
round.
get those frags off the racks. Get
Next
your racks
round, let's
back
do
and pick some
the
chalices.
Mycidiums.
Go ahead, Jacob. Go grab yours. It's on top of everything else. So.
Are we going to get these frags starting to bag them
Yeah,
up a while?
Pull the zoas off, leave it in the bin or something.
So, yeah, go ahead and grab your colony and put it over, and we'll take the, leave the zoanthids in here, and that way, that's perfect. Do we have bags here already for putting the frags in?
All right, Jacob, once you have your rack, you get to choose
Oh,
first.
yeah,
We're
we
going
can
with
use
the
a bunch of small
chalices.
frag
The
bags.
chalices.
Here you go, Austin. Yes, sir.
So, Jacob, head on over, pick the chalice frag. Choose carefully. Choose wisely.
You can only be one.
But hurry up.
They're picking a
Choose
coral
wisely,
that
but make it quicker.
I
All
brought.
right, Austin, you're up.
I brought a very similar coral to the last show, and there's a trick to the mycidiums when you frag them, and it's something that an experienced fragger should know exactly what they need to do with that coral when they mount it onto the plug. If they don't mount it onto the plug with this one particular thing they have to do, it's not going to stick.
I'm sorry, Jacob. Good luck.
Check.
So one thing I really want to mention is that this whole segment within Aquashella is sponsored by ACI Aquaculture of Chris Meckley. Let's give it up for Chris Meckley.
Big hands for ACI.
Providing the corals, because there's a lot of fragging that happens of wild corals and fresh, freshly imported specimens and colonies. But these are all aquaculture, so these are going to be fragged for the second generation per se. So that's actually an interesting twist, because these guys are going to have very similar corals to start from, to frag off. They're all from the same condition, so each of the coralites should be about the same size. And it takes a lot of work to aquaculture these corals and put this show together. So let's give it up for Chris Meckley, who doesn't usually get a lot of praise for putting on this part of the event.
Thank you.
Come on, you
Let's
guys can do
hear
better
it
than
for
that.
free
Come on. Take it. There it is.
Tell your
It's-
reef store to hit up ACI Aquaculture if they want the biggest catalog of aquacultured frags wholesale.
Thanks, Jake. I appreciate that.
right.
We will have it very soon up to 300 frags that are aquacultured, 300 different types of corals available in the market, and every show we should be able to bring something completely different than we did for up to 100 shows, or even longer, or even more down the road. So it's very exciting for us to be able to get hobbyists, truly aquacultured corals, and I can guarantee that, and not just some wild coral chopped up into pieces. It's easy to do.
How many? The 10 minutes seem too long. Do we want to go down to? Do you think this is going to require 10 for this, or should we go down to 8?
It's a Mycidium, so there's a trick. Make
All
it
right,
10.
yeah,
If we have
we'll
to,
go
if we have
10
to stop
again,
it, we have to stop
we
it.
finish
you
it.
know?
All right, gentlemen. Is everybody up here ready? Audience, are you ready? Woo! Brian, are you ready? That's all that matters. 3, 2, 1, go! I miss these things.
I know, right?
These are great. All right, so here we go again. Frag's going down, glue going on plugs. Super exciting. You know what's a little different this time is nobody up here has a light on their
No
saw.
lights. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. So typically, sometimes, guys, you'll see them with a light up here, like a small light that you would see on your tank. And what they're doing is they're essentially using that light to get the photoreactive from the coral, and that way they can see the lines better, see what they're cutting, see what they're doing. These guys are going old school. No lights, no nothing. Just feeling it by hand. Scott, get in there. Tell us what's going on. Commentate.
All right, Austin.
Hey.
Tell me what's happening here, because I know these are a little bit tricky on these bad boys.
For the chalice, I like to go in a circle around the edge, so at least one side of it has a healthy growth edge.
See, this is different that I didn't notice from any other time. We're putting it right up there so that the whole entire place can see it. I love that, because watching how he's cutting around that Mycidium, where you can barely see it on this video, but there's little coralites. Everybody calls these things eyes. There's a real true scientific term for it. It is an individual coralite, which means it's an individual animal. So a coral is grown, it's a colony. It's a collaboration of a lot of different animals, but they're exact clones of one another. So seeing him cut through that coral and letting you guys all see how it's done, there is a technique to it, and he's actually doing it very similar to the way I frag a Mycidium. I always cut the rim off of it, and then I make sure that it is not cut through the coralites or the polyps, but right next to it. And making a frag with this particular coral is going to be interesting to see how they stick, which is one of the criteria that we look for in the judging, is when we touch them, are they going to stay on that plug? And this particular coral is extremely tricky, and see how these guys do.
2 minutes down, folks. 2 minutes down. All right, Jacob, how you feeling?
Peter, it's been a long time since I've cut coral, but I think we're doing pretty well. I remember I've talked to Chris many times. I know how he likes corals. This is one that I'm not sure of. You guys told me about.
Well, you still have all your fingers, so you got that going for you. That's good.
Chris, how you making out?
I'm doing pretty good, I feel like. I'm going through, I cut right through the middle to start with. It's typically how I frag chalices, just because I want to go and just to kind of pizza style it. I go and I get a bunch of little pieces out of it and then just glue them on the plugs. It allows me to get the backs to be a lot flatter too. which helps with gluing. So.
Scott, why don't you, so you own a store, even though you masquerade as a saltwater guy, you know a thing or two. Why don't you talk a little bit about these saws? Tell people, anybody here own, aside from Brian, own or have used a saw like this in the hobby? Oh, we got one person back there. All right. All right, well, Scott's going to tell you a little bit about these saws, why they're so special, why nobody's up here is worried about losing a finger or anything else, so.
Why?
Okay, for a commercial aquaculture facility like myself, if I use the Gryphon, I'd go through 2 a month, 3 a month. They don't last long enough for me because we're doing between 500 and 1,500 frags per day per saw. And these things are hobbyist grade for cutting stained glass. They're great for hobbyists, but they're not great for a commercial facility like myself. So we use one we call the Speedster, that's called the Speedster 2000, and that thing has a higher RPM, and when you're cutting a coral, it just eats right through it. These things here I've had such problems with.
Yeah, but like example, why are the these are much more safe, like even the other ones. But
Why?
you don't feel like you can't cut yourself.
All right, these guys are having a
Can't cut
private
yourself on the
conversation,
Speedster
so I'll
either.
talk it about.
yeah.
The Griffin
still
saws that you
diamond
see up
blade.
here,
Yep.
they have diamond blades in them. You can put your finger on them. The blade's not going to cut it, but it's enough for friction, see?
It's very abrasive. It hurts.
It's abrasive, yeah, it hurts, but it's not going to rip through you. And basically, it's going to cut through the skeleton of the coral. Why you see water all over the place in here is because they have wet sumps in them, because heat generates. If you've ever cut anything, you know how hot it gets. But as you're cutting through the skeletons, heat generates, so there's a bath in here that pulls water out to keep everything out. Just kind of like cutting tiles, if you've ever cut a tile in a tile saw, something very similar. So
Back to the frag saw itself. They do work great for hobbyists, but you know, like I said, for me and my application, it just doesn't work
Yeah,
for me.
oh, yeah, no.
Because there's a lot more you have to do to this particular saw. If when you go from species to species, you have to clean out the water inside. Because if you're say cutting an Acanthostria echinata, and you leave the water in the reservoir, and then you go and cut a Favites or a Favia, all of those stinging cells that could be in that water, they end up going on to the next coral, and then those corals end up dying, and you're like, why did all these frags die? I never lose them. It's because you can't mix the water that was already cutting through another coral with a different species or genus. It can be problematic. So that's why I don't use the Gryphon as well, because I have to rely on my employees making sure they're going to clean these out properly, and if they don't, then they cut corals and we have coral death, and that's not why I do this. There's no reason to have a dead coral if you already know all the different. Don't care about the money. The money is not what makes me tick. It's the animals. You know, I don't want to see an animal die just to make $1. That's my point. You know, it is a bonus that I get to do what I love every single day and make a living doing it, but we always have to be making sure we're very proactive in learning different techniques and different ways to make sure that the animals are healthy and safe.
Especially like some of these guys make this look easy. This is not easy. This is not easy.
3:40. If you're going to be talking, Scott, read the thing.
Oh, I thought you were like trying to show me something.
The time. 3:40 left. 3:40 left. Chris is already done down there. Jacob and Austin. Austin could be gluing last piece here.
Austin, how you feeling, baby? You must be looking like you're feeling good. I understand why they call you A-Train. Kind of fill us in here.
Oh, I think it's based on work ethic. Yeah, because we got a lot of that. Never stops.
Ryan is so happy.
I know, look at him, so proud. He's like a proud dad up there with his camera, recording at the drama festival or whatever.
Or Sweep the Leg.
There it is. All right, Jacob, you got just shy of 3 minutes left. Everybody else seems to be wrapping up, so no pressure on you. It's not like everybody's just watching you at this moment. While everybody else is, kind of hanging out doing
Chris,
things.
how you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty decent. You know, I think I counted mine. I got more than Austin, so it's all good.
Jacob's coming down to the last bit. Just checking on you, baby. I just want to see if you got anything to say.
Let's encourage Jacob. Let's start a chant. Jacob, 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 Jacob. Did that help?
We still got Jacob going through all.
Fragging ain't easy. That's it for sure. That's all right. You still got 2 minutes, Jake. Take your time, buddy. You know.
You got to remember, Jacob doesn't frag every day
No,
either.
I know. This is a.
Hey, I don't don't either.
He's
so.
he's
That's
digging
right.
deep.
Chris doesn't either.
Yeah, I do the office work.
Chris is a businessman. He counts the money from the profit of the frag sales. So there you go. So run that. So that should be the competition. Is after you put them up, you have to tell us what the street value of the frags you created are. Whoever made the most profitable cuts wins.
Well, I can give you pretty much that by looking at it.
Let
So
them do it, Chris. Come on. We're adding a new level to this contest.
when you break it all down, what we put into the show, and I honestly don't care about it, but it is just a great way for, I think, for us to contribute to Aquashella and to bring more awareness to aquaculture and, you know, allow these folks to actually get a truly aquaculture coral. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's why we do this. It's to bring more awareness to what we love.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, without this stuff, we wouldn't really have half of the show.
You're exactly, yeah, very true.
All right, who's hanging in out there? I see Brian's getting antsy.
Yeah, I'm seeing
Do
it.
you need a screen time, Brian? You done? Oh, well, hang on. All right, let's act like the time's done. In 3, 2, 1, hands off! Okay, good job. All right, gentlemen, present your corals to the judges. I like how everybody's badge is just hanging in the water.
It's totally fun.
All right, what else can I throw at people? What's this? Nothing good there.
Nothing.
Frag plugs here.
Tomorrow spicier.
Tools.
With the scape off,
The scape off's good. Make sure you come back. I give
Scape
away a
off.
lot of cool rocks.
everybody's getting free rocks.
Well, these are kind of cool. Different color.
They need,
Yeah.
they need to get you a T-shirt cannon.
Oh yeah. Let's take by a show of hands. Who would like me to have a T-shirt cannon?
Yes.
Yeah, Sean. Where's
Sean,
Sean?
you didn't put that in the budget.
Put it in the budget. Next year we need T-shirt cannon. All right, I have different colored frag plugs. Who wants something thrown at them? All right, for you. All right, you got to catch them, sir. In the back. Good catch. Yeah, watch your eyes. Everybody have safety glasses on. More out there. Bad hands. Further back. Good catch. Way down there. Somebody catch. Watch your eyes.
Close your eyes.
And there. Small child up there. Protect them. Okay, I'm going to come over here. This is easier to throw from. Oh, here.
There
Oh,
we
man.
go.
Here's all my people. Here we
There
go.
we are.
Ooh. These are tough to catch, aren't they? They're small. There you go. In the back. And over here. There you go. Good try. Probably broke. All right, try it again. Here you go. Yeah, oh, that one's broke. Hang on. You ready? You ready? Coming at you. And still. Yeah, major failure, but that's fine. All right, back there. Over here. There. It's that kid, this kid with the JBJ hat. He just keeps moving around, acting like he's oh, sorry. That was off. Where? What? There you go, buddy. One for you. Good try. You move. You're done. There you go. The only way you get more is if you come back with some snacks. So go find some snacks and then come back and whoop, watch that. There you go.
It was a plug.
If it was Coke, I'd take you up on it, but Pepsi, no thanks. Oh, there we go. All right, there you go. All right, you one more time. No, you're good. All right, out here, over here. So this is the best part of the show. Who knew people were so excited for 10-cent frag plugs? There you go. There you go. Oh boy. All right, come on, try again. There you go. In the back there. Way over there. Best hair at the show. Oh, that dude stole it. Oh, coming back at you. Good. Watch. Oh God! Don't knock over the tank. Gosh. Did you guys sign the liability waiver before coming to this? There you go. All right, I think I got just about everybody. All right. Woo! I got to stretch before this. I feel bad because normally there's a bunch of glue and stuff I throw out, but I don't have a whole lot of stuff here.
So with the Mycidiums here, it's, again, interesting to see the different techniques. They're very decent looking frags on every single one of them. The trick that I was talking about with the Mycidiums to get them to stick to the plug long term. You can take a Mycidium frag and cut it if it's got tissue, because an aquacultured Mycidium, actually as it grows, compared to a wild Mycidium when it's collected, it's got tissue going all the way back to the reef on the underside of the coral as it grows out. And when we receive those corals from the wild, they've been put through a lot of stress from the time they get collected to the time they get to my facility. And a lot of times that tissue doesn't go all the way back to where it was connected to the reef. But because it's still healthy, all the tissue on the top is good, and as it grows out, it will continue to have that tissue. So as an aquaculture piece, as they grow from that little pinky nail sized fragment we put down on the plug, and as it grows out, the tissue is from the frag plug underneath all the way out, as well as the entire top part. So when you're cutting a Mycidium, if you cut it and you don't take that tissue off the bottom of that frag, when you mount it, it will stick. But because that tissue will die, it will decay, and it'll eventually pop right off that plug because the glue doesn't have any like bone or skeleton to attach itself to. So I'm hoping that these all stick long term. And there's a different technique that Austin did that I never thought about, and that's, I guess, if anybody gets any of the ones that are on the 3/4 inch frag plugs, I'd love to hear feedback sent to Aquashella as to whether they stuck to the plug long term. It's very interesting to see what happens with all the different techniques again. So, you got any more, Jake?
I just want to say, like, there's not really a wrong way to do this. There's maybe just more optimized ways to do this, you know. So one thing that we're really noticing is, you know, one contestant has really uniform style frags, right? So when those are allowed to grow out and brought to a reef show such as Aquashella, you know, when someone is reviewing all those corals, they're going to look very similar. You know, there's not going to be a better frag or a worse frag. Some of the other contestants gave us a little bit more of slivers. There's nothing wrong with those corals, but when these are brought to the show, there's going to be a wide range of sizes. You know, there's going to be a better frag in a mix of 10 than some of the others. So it's all the frags will grow, all of them will live, all of them will survive. We're just looking at it from, you know, folks who have bought and made and you know, looked at a lot of frags throughout the years. We're looking for that consistency really matters when you're coming to the reef show, right? You don't want to be showing up at somebody's booth and you're late to the party and you have leftover frags that are not quite as flattering or attractive as all of them were together. So there is no wrong way to do this, but we're just kind of looking at, you know, just some of the optimized ways to produce these coral frags.
All right, round 3. You guys ready? Last round.
Okay, so round 3 is what happened to the, okay. So there's one Manila Spy fragment that is still intact. So whoever's the first to pick is probably going to end up picking that one because it's going to be a lot easier. But, I mean, I guess it's a matter of opinion on it as to whether you think it's easier to frag or not. So the other ones are put in bags. And these were decent-sized fragments of Manila Spy. And as a matter of fact, Manila Spy, to give you a little bit of story and history on this coral, and this is what I love about what we do, is we have a story and there's history with every single coral that we have a name on. It's not just chopped from a wild coral colony and a name slapped on it to market it. We actually have time and effort put into every single coral that's fragged and thought put in every single name. And Jake, when I was out at Reef Stock back in March, I wanted the Manila Spy from him for a long time, and he had sent it to me the year before in June, and I told him I was going to put it on the market. As a commercial aquaculture facility for the first time, it was going to go available to the retail stores to purchase so that stores could have it in their place so that retail customers like yourself could purchase it. He sent it to me. It's such a pain in the butt sometimes because it's a brittle coral. I mean, Jake always says you can take a look at it and it'll break.
So what's interesting about this segment, this is not going to be a fragging competition. This is very much going to be a gluing competition because the Manila Spy, it's thinner than certain algae. Like the branches are so thin, it's really not practical or feasible to actually grow it into a colony more than like 3 or 4 inches. Unless you have a really, really calm tank. Fish will swim by and they'll frag it. And I know how difficult it is to glue this coral down. So this is where people are going to be able to some extra credit on their gluing skills because there's so little surface area to put down on the plug. It's going to be very interesting to see how these guys approach it. I have stopped gluing them down. I take every little piece that's like fragged off and I make a pile. I have a little pile of Manila Spy. I don't even bother gluing it. When somebody wants it, I just give it to them. But so this is less of a fragging challenge and a gluing challenge. But this is a really cool story because all of the Manila Spy in the United States started from one tiny little shred. It's been discovered by other coral vendors and renamed by other coral vendors. But this is a really, really cool coral. If you're into like the red TNT and Acropora, this is a really, really great complementary piece that grows faster and is brighter red. So we're looking forward to seeing what the contestants do in this gluing challenge.
So with him saying the gluing challenge basically with this coral is, remember, we judge on whether there's too much glue on your frag plug for what you put down. So with these pieces as tiny as they are, I mean, heck, some of them are the size of a pin that you're going to have to put in there and not over glue them.
All right, Austin,
It's like
you're
gluing
up to
down
choose
grass. There you
first,
go.
so- Go ahead, buddy. You go up and choose. Oh, yeah, you guys got to get your frag racks back. Sorry. Or there are other frag racks over here or something. I don't know. Go get your frag racks back. It's fine. Oh, that's right. You got plugs already.
That makes more sense. One for me? I don't mind.
All right, being nobody brought me snacks, I went and got snacks, and I'll throw some snacks at you while we wait. Reese's? Another Reese's? Over there. Kit Kat? Oh boy, wow. All right, hang on. Brian, put your hands down.
All right, so I guess Austin gets to pick the first time, the
Yep.
first
Austin's
first
up.
one. So let's go right down the line and get these things pulled. And I guess,
Whoppers.
Chris, you're next, and then Jacob.
Good catch. Hang on, Whoppers over here. There you go. Enjoy. Milk duds? Whoppers or milk duds? Almond
Milk
Joy?
duds.
Huh?
Milk duds.
Oh, there you go, milk duds. I'm sorry, milk duds out here? All right, let's see. We'll go over there. Little
Thank
guy.
you all for hanging around for this. Last time it got down to like 10 people left towards the end of it because it went a little bit long. So we're trying to tweak it every time, like I said, to make sure that it keeps everybody's attention. 'Cause
Almond
it
Joy?
can get redundant with just cutting corals.
Man, what was there? Only one Kit Kat in here? Oh, Jesus. Sorry, Austin.
Yeah,
All right.
ready.
I left my phone here somewhere.
It's right here.
Oh, no, it's in my hand.
Where'd you go? Oh.
Idiot. All right, everybody pick? You guys
Yeah,
got
that
all-
picks.
You guys good?
You guys ready?
Ready? All right. In 3,
2,
1, go! All right, off to breakneck speed. Glue's going down. Glue's going down to the frag plug. Frag plug moving to the front, back, frag for front. Glue's going in. Coral's going in.
Glue
Frag's going
is
in.
going down.
Glue's going down. Don't blink, you might miss it. I'm going to eat something now.
Oh.
So you don't want anything, Scott?
No, I'm good.
Reese's? Oh, sorry. I know. They're very light. Very light. It goes way better, Brian, when I have the rocks and just kind of put them out.
I have an incredible amount of experience fragging this coral. This is why I stopped gluing it down and I started putting it into a pile. So for me, it's like really entertaining to watch someone else struggle to glue down toothpick-sized coral branches. So I'm really excited to see the different techniques that we have in practice right here. One thing that I am seeing is that all of our contestants, they started putting with the glue down before they started fragging. I see a little bit of super glue accelerator being used. That's definitely a nice trick.
Almond Joy?
And so, like I said, yeah, this is a lot less of a fragging competition than a challenging coral fixing competition. All right, so we see our middle contestant here, Jacob. He's using some super glue. So he's doing the epoxy sandwich. If you guys have ever heard of that, super glue, epoxy, super glue, and that.
Oh, you do?
Basically, the glue fixes the epoxy down. The epoxy makes a little bit of a base, and then you put a little bit of glue in there that you can basically make the sandwich. So when I look through my frags, I can almost remember whose frags those were from, based on whether they had the epoxy sandwich. So this is an important technique, and it's something to keep in mind.
That's just a tweak technique, a way of doing that technique from what I've always done. I was just taking make a ball, roll a whole bunch of little balls of that up, and then put the frag down inside of it, and then stick it to the glue.
We're talking about you.
Yeah, we're talking about you. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Some of those little pieces that I pulled out of that tank they're tiny. And that's not an easy piece to get to stick up.
So it's definitely for bonus points using the super glue epoxy super glue sandwich. That's definitely going to get them a little bit of bonus points.
They can't
I don't have
fall
time for that. I almost never ever do that. So I definitely take it a little bit the harder route as far as putting down the glue first. You see that they're cutting the frags that they made to try to get a little bit more of an even base, so you can get more adhesion between that toothpick-sized branch of Monopora and the surface of the frag. But we'll see how these come together once they're cured. This is very fun for me because I have glued this coral down so much that I've given up.
That's why I brought it, because I knew you'd enjoy seeing how other people are going to be fragging this coral after the history you have with it. And there's really only a handful of corals that I use the technique Jacob's using for mounting frags. And I never even thought about using it for this one because, I don't know. But Bird's Nest is the other one. Seriatopora is one that's very good to use the sandwiching with the technique. And Gorgonians and a handful of other things, but not very many use the technique that Jacob is using on them.
One thing that we love about the Manila Spy is such a fast-growing coral that within about 2 to 3 years, you will not be able to give it away. It grows so fast, it frags itself. Even in lower light, it prefers lower light. And high light, you really got to make sure to have those nutrients. This is one of those corals that's going to grow so fast, you won't be able to give it away to your reefing buddies in like 2 or 3 years. But if you're lucky enough to get one of these frags, you're really going to enjoy it. There's a really awesome story behind this coral. If you guys have seen the movie Vanilla Sky, there is a specific reason this coral is called the Manila Spy, and that was written up in an issue of Coral Magazine, I think last year.
Yeah, and I have it actually on our website with the coral as it's available. You can go in and get the description of the coral, and then you can see the backstory on the coral. And if I remember correctly, Amanda did put every single detail that you gave us for the coral to write the backstory so that there's actually a meaning behind the real name of the coral. And again, all of our corals, if you go on the website, the majority of them have that backstory from the time we purchased it, or if we got it from Jake and he had another story on it. So it makes it, for me, it gives it more purpose, and it's not just a marketing technique.
So I'd like to point out that this entire time, Jacob has been preparing his frag plugs. He is just now starting to handle his coral, and this is a technique that I like to do with my frag plugs. I like to lay out all my frag plugs, know how I'm going to have more than I need every single time, pre-rinse, maybe dab a little bit of glue for however many I'm going to need before I start cutting, because it's not the same feeling when you have your corals all cut and then you have to go prepare your frag plugs and your glue. So definitely take note of how these guys are putting these together.
4.5 minutes, folks. 4.5 minutes.
4 minutes.
This might be the fastest frag off that ever happened, and we didn't even get to start on time. That's awesome. So, tweaking it every time. What do you guys think of what's going on? Enjoying it? Everybody's ready for some free frags? Does anybody out there that is going to be getting a frag, have you kept SPS corals? If somebody gets an SPS that has never kept SPS corals, the Manila Spy is probably the perfect beginner SPS coral for any reefer out there. So if you have always wanted to get into dabbling with SPS corals, do your best to get yourself a Manila Spy, because that is the indicator of whether you're going to be able to graduate into an SPS tank. If this thing thrives and does really well for you, that gives you more confidence, and it gives you the ability to go out and purchase a more exotic one. And it's blood red. Yeah, it's so shimmery, shiny blood red. This gentleman in the back's got a red hat on. It is as red as his hat. I mean, that is one of the great things about it, and especially when you see it grow out from this little itty-bitty thing that's the size of a pin, and it grows into a colony like this before it crumbles upon itself. You'll see this beautiful red coral with all these red branches growing throughout. And like Jake said, a bigger fish can swim by this coral and you startle it. And when it swims away, it just fragged my Manila spy for me. I mean, it's literally how it happens all the time in my facility. I don't think we've fragged it other than the first time when we had the colony growing out, because it didn't even branch out. It grew across the tile. So
3
it's
minutes,
about done.
just 3 minutes. All
3
right,
minutes
Chris.
to go.
3 minutes to go.
How's everybody doing? Are we going to get done in 3 minutes? You going to be good to go, Jacob?
This one, I think, actually going to come down to it.
Yeah, I know.
Hershey bar?
They're going to be coming down the wire on this one. I
Aussie,
knew it was
you
going to be
sway?
the longest
Good.
one.
I think
That's
I'll
why I
be
picked
out.
it last.
Another one? I'm sorry.
Chris, how you feeling?
You know, that thing was brittle. That's for sure. That's it definitely it explains why they were already pre-fragged for them. Because I took the one that wasn't pre-fragged. It just I really wanted to see what I could do with it. I want to see what piece I could cut. I didn't want to have it be limited to all the small pieces that are already there. So I think I'm feeling pretty decent about it. Pretty decent.
I feel like you did. Right? Overall.
I honestly, those were pretty difficult to glue down, but I'm using this extra thick super glue by Bulk Reef Supply. You know, it's doing pretty well. I'm trying to plug one of my competitors right now, just keep that in mind.
2 minutes.
Hey, there's no one that makes a good super glue. It really isn't. Like, I like it.
Jacob.
I'm going to disagree with you on that.
Well, I feel a little better
I
now
use,
that,
and I'm going to
Chris
plug
and
him
Jake were
because
talking
he's the
about my
godfather of
technique,
reefing.
so
Julian
that's
Sprung's
going to give me a little leg up on this one,
Coral
we'll see
Fix?
how it goes for the rest of the show.
I use Julian Sprung's Coral Fix. I get 24 bottles of the 295 mils monthly. That's how much glue we go through. And it's very thick. And actually, a lot of people don't know this about cyanoacrylate. If you keep it in the freezer, it makes it thicker. Only problem is sometimes it makes it stringy. So to make your super glue for gluing down coral frags last longer, you should keep it in the freezer and get it out. And I always stick it in, if I'm in the middle of fragging and run out of a bottle, I'll go grab a bottle out of the freezer and stick it into
1 minute.
a bucket of
Sorry,
water
Chris.
to
1
cool
minute.
it down a little bit, or warm it up a little bit so that it's not so thick. But it does make a difference. And the Julian's glue, unlike any glue I used,
All right, this one I actually think is going to come down to 45 seconds, gentlemen. 45 seconds. 40. 35. The pressure's on. Jacob's sweating.
Jacob is
I
sweating.
need a towel up here to dab him with. I wish I had a cape to like throw over him when he's done, like Elvis. Jacob has left the building. 20 seconds, gentlemen, 20 seconds. Fill that volcano up there. 15. Here we go, folks. Count it down with 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands off the corals. Hey, a big round of applause for all our competitors up here.
you did exactly what I was hoping somebody was going to do, and you put 2 frags on each.
Big round of applause for our judges who are about to finish up their work. Hardest working men in the industry right here.
Big round of applause for Chris Meckley for putting this event together and providing the aquacultured corals.
Yes.
ACI Aquaculture, tell your fish store to hit them up for truly captive grown farmed corals. With a story.
There it is. Big round of applause for me because I got candy. All right, is everybody paying attention? This is going to be just like a scatter throw. All right, ready? There's all kinds of stuff
Bring
in
them
here.
up down.
Ready? Here we go. All right, there you go. Now comes the difficult part. The judges reviewing the last coral, then will begin their deliberation on who is the Chicago 2022 Coral Fragging World Champion and will receive the brand new Mercedes-Benz and a $100,000 check. Did you have the check? Did you bring the check?
Not me.
I'm not, whoever wins, the check is somewhere, so, you know, just look around for it.
It's in the mail.
It's in the mail, check's in the mail. Giant ironic check in the mail. Won't fit in your mailbox.
Huge.
Huge check. What? Here, call me. Call me, bro.
I think it's so funny.
I think he was saying make sure they don't confuse them and know, where the winner's one is. I think that's what he was saying. I've left like this area. Yeah. All right, this is whoa, wait, we got echoes? Echo. Mic check. Who's excited to get some coral frags?
Yeah.
Who was more excited to get candy? Big draw. We should have a candy off sometime. Just have a table full of candy, see who can eat the most of it. Who's coming back tomorrow for the head-to-head scape-offs? Another exciting contest you can only see here at Aquashella. All right, well, let's not keep Brian awake. Everybody keep it down a notch. He was, Who here is a super fan of Scott Crow? I know I am. I know I am. The human cartoon character. The human caricature. There you go, that's better. The human caricature. That's it. All right, Scott. You've done none of the heavy lifting. Entertain these people.
It was great.
I've thrown
I just
flag
wanna
plugs
say
at
you
them.
did
I
a
threw
great
candy
job,
at
dude.
them. Go do a dance.
Yeah.
You're good at that. Scott, everybody clap for Scott. Make him go dance.
I can't.
That was it.
That was like a tenth of a river dance.
That was it. You normally get the knee thing in there.
I
You
get
did.
the, woo,
Yeah,
that just
there it
happened,
is.
that
That
just
happened.
happened.
That blew your mind. You saw that here. Nowhere else would you see
I can
that.
only do it with Jacob. But yeah, we'll get a little.
Oh yeah!
That's about all we got.
All right. Well, while we're killing time here, Chris, how do you feel it went?
Yeah, honestly, I feel pretty decent. Good, bad, either way. At the end of the day, one of us is gonna win. So.
But the very.
I didn't mean that to be selfish, but
Hey. Very zen. Jacob.
I can tell you that a ginger is not taking this home.
Ouch. Whoa. We should have squared off first.
So how confident are you on that one, Jacob? How confident? How do you think you're gonna take it home?
Oh, are the judges ready? Yeah. All right.
All right, well, I'll let them take it.
All right, so before we get into our, kind of theoretical score breakdown, let's just give it up for all the contestants for coming up here, standing up. We saw a lot of trembling hands. It really takes some guts to come up here and do this. But it's really fun, and if you've ever fragged corals, like I know some of you in the audience have, one person fragging corals is not the craziest thing, but when you see three people fragging the same kinds of corals over and over and over, the different techniques start to really shine a light on what works best for different types of corals. So I just want to say something about every one of the contestants. Jacob really kind of pulled up his score with his epoxy sandwich that he did. He had the most amazing frags of the Manila Spy, so that last round definitely went to him. That was a really, really great call. Chris, Gingerbread, we do like how he was using some super glue, some coral dip inside of his tile saw to just help to disinfect the corals along the way. But one thing that we really appreciated is several of our contestants, they dabbed the glue first. They dabbed the glue first, allowing it to start curing on the plug before they even started cutting, so they had plenty of frags left. Another thing that we mentioned while it was going down is all of us, we have experience growing fragging Mycidium. I probably have the least of these, us three, but when you have a plating chalice coral or a plating capricornus or anything that's pretty kind of flat, what we want to do is cut that perimeter just like a perfect ring, like a perfect donut, and then cut those pie slices. So that's one way that Austin really grabbed our attention. But at the end of the day, there definitely was a clear winner. Let's give it up one more time for everybody up here. And the 2022 Aquashella Chicago Coral Fragging Competition champion is A-Tray!
Congratulations, Austin.
Good job. Keep it going.
So, we watched all the contestants. They all did a great job. And we all, Jacob, I hope you had fun. Chris, I hope you had fun. Austin, we hope you had fun.
Put that baby on.
Thanks for participating in it. And we have, I don't even know how many fragments are available, but it's well over 100, maybe close to 200 fragments that are free to the people that are watching this here today. And these guys did a really awesome job. The one thing that I don't think Jake mentioned was, well, we did talk about it during the fragging, was the donut, the putty. That is something for any branching coral. It's a technique that a lot of people should be using. But again, all the techniques, it's so nice to see the different ways that people do fragging, and learning something new like I did this time as well is always a bonus for me putting this on, and let's put it into practice at the ACI farms so that we can, be better at producing corals. So thank you guys all for coming here, and I guess Peter have it.
Nice orderly line. Let's go. Let's get
Sean,
out some
thank you.
frags. Start right here and don't push and shove. If you push and shove, Dwayne's going to put some hands on you and stop. So I don't want to see that. All right, thank you everybody for coming out. Whoever's coming back tomorrow, look forward to seeing you. Make sure you come to the scape-offs, where not only will you get maybe some candy, but free rocks. I'm giving away free rocks tomorrow. We will see you all later.